live. All right, we're going live. We're live. We're live. All right, we're live. It's once again Thursday. Another hour and a half of modeling madness. I'm Mike. This is Moose. And once again, you're here for another hour and a half of live Mike. And this is episode 20. We reached 20 of these suckers. Still going. So, as usual, first thing, I'm going to go over the poll results of last week's poll. If you remember, we asked, are modeling contests helping the hobby grow or pushing people away? And unanimously, people said it's helping the hobby grow. So, we have spoken. Now, before I go into my spiel, I want to tell you a possible programming change. Tomorrow's video that I was going to film, this is not going to affect the video that's going to drop tomorrow because that's already uploaded. But the one I'm going to film tomorrow may not happen. Well, wait, hold it. Let me rephrase that. This is affecting it may affect the video that's dropping tomorrow because right now I have a video on eBay, on cheap eBay kits, and this one's doing very well. I'm going to check it tonight. If it's at a certain threshold, I may move the drop date of tomorrow's video to Tuesday and let this video have a little more room to breathe and to grow. So just letting you know that. And then every other video after that will be moved to the next drop date. All right. So let me get into the subject at hand today. We're going to talk about beginners and their first model kit. The question for today is, should beginners start with aircraft, cars, armor, or ships? And this is a common question for new modelers. Moosey wants to get down. All right, buddy. This is a common question for new modelers because they don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they're getting into. They need to have a little information before they even buy their first model. And number two is the starting kit choice can affect skill growth, motivation, and fun. If they get, say, a ship to start with, and this is way out of their league, they may get discouraged and quit. So let's go through some pros and cons of each type of kit. Beginner aircraft kit. Pros are wide variety, lots of beginner-friendly options, and they're good for painting practice, especially with camouflage, stuff like that. Cons, they can be tricky with seams. A lot of these aircraft models have twisted fuselages and warped parts, and they can be tricky with alignment and landing gear, especially. Let's go to beginning car kits. The pros, you're usually clean builds. They usually fit together real well, unless they're a Corvette ZR1. I'm just saying. They focus on glossy finishes, and we all know that, and they're a popular subject matter. The cons are paintwork can be challenging. Shiny surfaces can show flaws. Beginner armor kits. The pros of beginner armor kits. Forgiving with weathering, they are, because a lot of them take heavy weathering. They have a rugged look, and there's less need for perfection. The cons, the tracks can be frustrating, as we all know. The details sometimes can be overwhelming. And let's finally move to ship kits. The pros of ship kits are impressive display pieces. A lot of them are once they're finished. And they have lots of detail, and they do build patience, because you need patience to get through a ship, especially a sailing ship, which takes rigging. And the cons, they have high part counts. Rigging and small details can overwhelm beginners. So let's go to the chat here. See who's all here. John Christmas, hey buddy, how you doing? Jan says, glad for the pop-up. I almost forgot. Well, glad you're here. Obayarki Fisherman, hey Obayarki. Says, hi Mike, just got here and may not be able to stay too long. Got one of those wonderful doctor appointments in about an hour. Don't we all love them? Hey, you're probably better than I am on Monday. I have a colonoscopy scheduled for Monday. I can't even eat all day Sunday, and not even Monday till like 5 o'clock. So I'm not going to be able to eat for a day and a half. Jan says, one, whatever subject they are interested in, two, but if they are in doubt, I'd say get a new Tool Airfix aircraft starter set, the ones with a stand. True. Obiarki Fisherman says, hello, Jan. Hello, Jan. Michael Lambertino, hey, buddy. How you doing? Jan says, first I'd say build. If painting is scary, don't paint it. They only need to be happy with it themselves. Same with weathering. Very true. But the point I'm getting at is, what is going to be easiest for them so they don't get frustrated, number one. And number two, they can get through it pretty easy, and it's still a fun build. That's what I'm getting at. Michael, you came in a little late, so the subject for today is, should beginning modelers start with aircraft, cars, armor, or ships? So that is the question for today. I myself am going toward agreeing with Jan that aircraft would be best. Michael says, I've only built cars. Okay. Obayarki says, did the colonoscopy last month. First time I had to pay to get. Okay. Yeah. Jan says, then it's as an aircraft builder, aircraft. Okay. Well, let's get off what kind of builder we all are. Let's think about the beginner. What do you think would be best for them overall? John says, just got my first car kit. It's the Bugatti steerer set from Airfix. Jadlam selling them off cheap. As for new starters, I would say Armor. Hmm. Okay, John, here's a question for you. Now, if it was like the Cromwell starter set from Airfix, I would agree with you. But what would you think they would have a little problem with the tracks? That's my main problem with Armor and beginners are the tracks. Jan says, yeah, tanks are easiest, but darn expensive nowadays. Yeah, but I'm still on the tracks. The tracks are not easy for a beginner. Uh, Even if you get these aftermarket track sets, those sometimes aren't the easiest, and they're very, very fragile sometimes. John says tracks just need patience, and modern kits now coming with jigs. Very true. Very true. Yeah, I forgot about that. I had my last that T80 tank I did about a month or two ago finished up. I had to get aftermarket tracks for that, and it came with jig. That jig, it helped me get started, but I did it faster without it, actually. Yeah, I Obiarki says good quality kits with as little frustration as possible in assembly and painting. Go wild. All right. Jan says the flexible, stringy things. As a starter, I would hate the 5-piece single track ones. Just get an older kit. Oh, yeah, you're talking about those rubber. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Just hopefully, I've had times when I got those rubber tracks and I tried to get them around, the wheels and everything, and it broke the wheels off. They were so tight. John, not Jan. John says older kits like the Tamiya ones come with rubber band tracks. Yeah, that's Jan says, or Lincoln length ones. True, true. I finally got to the point where I uh, take those rubber band or rubber tracks, rubber band tracks, yeah, and I put them together outside the wheels, and then I'd stretch them out and wrap them around the wheels, and that seemed to work pretty well. I'd sit there and I'd melt those nubbins down to where they held together, and I melted it together, and I'd let it sit and really cure together. You do it right away, they're gonna break on you. Uh, Jan says perhaps even 48 or 72nd scale tanks. No starter is going to buy a new $60 kit, I would think. I would agree with you. I would agree with you. I wouldn't, if I was just trying the hobby out, I wouldn't waste $60. That seems to be rather stupid. Obayarki says Tamiya's are my faves at the moment. The Bulldog is a good piece of armor to start. Yes, Very true. Tamaya's. I mean, if you're going to start in armor, go to Tamaya. Yeah. John says the problem with aircraft is the seams, then the rescribing. Yeah, but actually, a beginner. I'm thinking back to when I was beginning. The beginners just like to get it built and done. You know, they want it to look. They want it to look like a plane or a tank, but they're not really care about being perfect. You know, and I don't even know if beginners know what rescribing is. Jan says, how much are the early 2000 Tamiya tanks now? I wouldn't think they're that expensive, Jan. I thought because if you remember right, Tamiya is one of those manufacturers that price their old toolings lower than their new ones. So I wouldn't think it'd be too expensive at all. OBRE says has 4 thumbs up for Jan. Jan and not Jan. I keep messing you guys up. Jan John. John says can pick them up for around 15 pounds. Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah. Michael Lambertino says just bought an AMT 57 T-Bird 3-in-1 convertible at Hobby Lobby this morning, 40% off. Ah, they got 40% off this week. Too bad I can't buy a model this month. It's OBRT says around $17 to $25 US. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Dean Gregg, welcome. Welcome, first timer. For me, I'm starting with a simple small build, mainly to see if I like the hobby or not, i.e., you need to build something. Dean from the UK, welcome. Welcome. I'll get into the Facebook group a little later for you. Yeah, and I agree with that. You're right on the head. Hit the nail right on the head, Dean, with that. Just need a simple small build that gets you to see whether you like the hobby or not. Don't get too into rescribing and and panel lining and all that good stuff like the rest of us do. Get into the hobby first. Michael Lambertino says 14 bucks. Yep. For Tamiya. Yep. Jan says, as a beginner, what are seams? Exactly. I'm on Reddit and see lots of beginners asking tips. The main mistakes, seams and too thick paint. Yep. Dean says, hi. Hi, Dean. Welcome again. Welcome. Every little once in a while we get new people here. John Christmas says, Dean, Airfix starter sets are the way to go. Yes, I agree. John says, so Tamiya tanks or Airfix starter sets? What? I think, Jan, I think your big fingers on the telephone keys aren't working again. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to see. Yeah, don't use the paints, John says. I agree with that. Remember my review of the Cromwell starter set. Oh, that was that. The paints in there were bad news. Dean says, I'm building a 124th Talbot Largo 1949 racing car kit by Merritt. Ooh, that's kind of a large, well, I would think a larger scale would have less tiny parts to deal with, but you're also getting into a lot more detail too. But then again, there's trade offs on everything, you know. We got to weigh it out and see if the good outweighs the bad on whatever you're doing. Dean says, I've sprayed everything. Tomorrow I'm putting it all together. Don't do it too fast, my friend. Don't do it too fast. Take your time. Take your time, study the instructions, do it right. And you'll have a lot more fun and you'll appreciate it a lot more when you're done. Because you've sprayed everything, but once you clean it up and put it together, you might have some touch up to do. So don't just throw it all together. Obiarki says, once again, I agree with Jan, but don't have much experience with Airfix. They're rare birds where I'm at. Where are you at, Obiarki? You're here in the US, aren't you? John Christmas. I've got 3 Tamiya kits and 1 border model kit for my diorama, and the latter one is the most complex. Yeah, I've seen your kits for that. That whole thing's gonna be complex, John. That whole damn thing's gonna be complex. Yeah, Obiarki, you're in Arkansas. I'm in northern Indiana, buddy. So the one thing that I saw a post in Facebook today, and uh, what it said was you can't get like the new Airfix Artemis kit. You can't find it over here. And the main reason is the 50% tariffs we're doing for everything that's coming in here now. And uh, Hornby UK is not shipping over here. They're not shipping their new stuff over here because of the tariffs. And when they do to their distributors over here, like Hornby USA has to pay for it, and they're going to drop the charge on us. So that's the reason why we can't find them over here. Dean says, yeah, the one thing I need to do, read instructions. I started the kit 23rd August 2025. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a 124th 1949 racing kit is, yeah. Read the instructions real close. Dean says, Airfix. Jan says, oh yeah, the lots of companies stopped shipping. Yes, they have. I mean, those tariffs are just killing us in the U.S. Dean says 1960s kit. Wow, that's an old kit. John says, if willing to pay for kit and shipping, can buy it for you. There you go. There you go, Buyarki. Get in touch with Jan. I mean, not Jan, John. John Christmas. Get in touch with John. Obiarki says, thinking about Edward 148 Prophet Kit Warbird. Anyone have experience with them? Ooh. I built a couple of Edward kits. They weren't bad. The ones I built, didn't have any problem with them. Jan says Edward is great. What kit? I think Yanni said the 148th Prophet Kit Warbird. Yeah, but I haven't had problems with Edward. Yeah, Obayarki. Here's what I suggest you do. Because John can buy that kit for you, whatever Airfix kit you need. Looking at Spitfires, John could buy the kit and ship it to you without I don't think the tariffs would come in on that. They might. But this is a personal person to person, not a company to company thing. So they might not come into being. So John's a member of our Facebook group. Just join the Facebook group and you and John can go on Messenger and discuss the whole thing. Michael says my next model is going to be a two-legged blonde. Hey, let's make it a group, Bill. Jan says Edward Spitfire should be good. Yeah. John says get 10% off as an Airfix Club member. There you go. Obiarki, just go to Facebook, look up the Frugal Scale Modeler, and Michael says, I'll build the bottom half. Why do you get the fun half? Yeah. Obiarki says, I mean, go on there, join it, and you and John can talk it out over Messenger. All you got to do, Obiarki, all you got to do is go on there, answer 3 questions and agree to the group rules. That's it. John says Edward Spitfire is a great kit. Obiarki says, amen. I married one, Michael. Oh, yeah. Jan says old orange box Edward kits might have some small fit issues, nothing big, especially FW190 and the I-16. Oh, don't get me started on the I-16. A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I did a model. 172nd I-16. Oh my God. I pulled that thing out of the box and it had 2 sprues on it. No problem. The only thing was it was 2 sprues of solid flash. Michael Lambertino says, I'm married to one also, and they are very expensive. Yeah. Obiarki says, Facebook has me permaban. They don't like gunsmiths. Wow. Well, I'm going to let you and John then talk to each other here on the chat or offline or whatever you want to do. Hell, John, you could start a mail order business here. Jan says tiny. Yeah, John, start a mail order business. Just buy Airfix stuff and ship it to America. You'll make millions. I doubt it, but hey, possibly our government screw ups are your gain. That's about as political as I'm gonna get. I know better. So let's get the conversation a little more going here. With another question. Another question. Well, Michael asked me, did I finish my ship? I haven't even worked on it since last week, actually. I've been busy with other things like this colonoscopy. They called me Tuesday, and also it's football season. So from Thursday on to like Monday, I'm taken. So, but Tuesday, the doctor's office calls me up, says, well, we had a cancellation. Can you come in a half hour earlier Monday for your appointment? Well, I already have my ride set up with the local, bus place. And I go, well, I told him I have my ride all set up with cabs, which is the local bus place. Just costs like $3 for a ride. Pretty economical. But anyway, said I already got it scheduled. And they go, well, just call them up, see if you can reschedule. If you can't, come call us back and we can reschedule this. And I go, okay. And they go, oh, and by the way, you can't go back home using cabs. And I go, well, why not? So, well, you need somebody to take responsibility for you. I'm like, well, I thought this whole thing of having a ride home, because they got to put you under when you're doing a colonoscopy, as some of you know. I thought this whole idea of getting a ride home was so that you wouldn't drive yourself and crack yourself up and kill somebody and make it home in one piece. And they go, well, that's true, but you still need somebody to take responsibility for you. So I go, oh, great. Well, I haven't got anybody to pick me up then. And yeah, so I had to get off there and call the bus company, reschedule. Then I had to call my best friend who's a truck driver who was out driving. And he had to answer the phone while he was driving, and we talked about it. He said he'd do it, no problem, but still a big pain in the ass. John says, do what I did and got taxi and said friend was waiting in car park. Yeah, I suggested that to him. I said, can I get a taxi? And they go, no, they won't let you get a taxi. And I'm like, this is bullshit. You know, I got a, yeah, literally, yes. It's bullshit. And I got, in 2014, I got a kidney taken out. I got it up in Goshen, which is the next big town north of us. And I drove my car there, but I got a cab home. And if I could do it then, why can't I do it now? Absolutely a big stupid pain in the ass. And like Michael said, literally. And it's gonna be. Thank God I'm gonna be asleep for it. Obiarki says, thank you, Jan. Gentlemen, I've got to go. Doctor's office calls. Enjoy yourself. I know I will. Have a good one, Obiarki. Thanks for showing up for as long as you could. See you next week. So let me ask the rest of you another question here. What was your first model kit and was it a good choice? What was your first model kit and was it a good choice? There you go, Obiarki. Go. Get to the doctor's office. Can't have them waiting. They get very pissy if you're late. So, what was your first model kit, folks? Was it a good choice? I think mine was a 69 Camaro and from AMT. And was it a good choice? Probably not. I mean, the paint job was, fair. You know, I didn't know anything about polishing or anything like that, let alone painting, or airbrushing. And that, and also my front suspension was put on upside down. So the thing looks like it's sitting like that. So, Jan says, when I restarted again 15 years ago, the Revell FW190 with Hengelkorn 72 SC. Revell. There you go. That's a ballsy choice. A Revell kit. Although Revell, I mean, the kits aren't bad. My main problem with Revell are their boxes, and those boxes, flimsy ass boxes, can lead to broken kits and stuff and all that good crap. Jan says, great kit. You want me to fill in the rest of the word after the F, Jan? I don't think so. Because there's one word that went straight to my mind. And it ain't a nice one. Oh, hell. John says, mine was the Tamiya 135th Tiger tank. Easy for you to say. Mine was a Tamiya 135th Tiger tank. Still have it sat in display case to remind me of how far my skills have come. That's right. All the newbies who are going to be watching this later, keep your first kit for exactly that reason that John just said. You can look back at it and say, wow, how far I've come. Jan says, got another one, Night Fighter, full of flash. Yeah, oh, I hate that. I hate that. But the thing is, I've been asked before what my most what I got the most what's the word, pleasure out of, I guess. And it was that I-16 kit because I had to go through all that flash. Had to plow through all that flash, and it ended up looking pretty good. Oh, for something that had a bunch of flash and a bunch of freaking gaps, and oh, the amount of sprue goo I used on that. Show it? Hey, hold on. I got to go into the living room and get it. I'll be right back. Stay here, Lucy. All right, there it is. The I-16 Polycarpov 1/72nd scale from A model, otherwise known as Piece of Crap Central. So there you go. There you go, Jan, as you asked. John says, my first plane was a disaster, so I tied it to a rocket on fireworks night and sent it into orbit. Michael says, hi, LOL, amen. And he also says, orbit, here it comes. Oh, man. Yeah. Jan says, when I-16 cool plane, you could build like 20 different versions of it. True. And some of them will actually be a plane. Instead of two solid sheets of flash. Yeah, I wouldn't mind finding a 1/48th to go with this 1/72nd. Man, this thing took me about, if I remember right, at least 3 weeks to build, just because I had to plow through all that flash crap. Back to John's statement, I was about ready to take this whole box and throw it into orbit. Let's see. Michael says, looks really nice from what I can see. And John says, I got the Edward Tonka. It came with 4 A4 sheets of decals. What a nightmare. Wow. And thank you, Michael. It was a lot of work. All this around the cowling, nothing but sprue goo. The Moosey, enough. The wing roots, sprue goo. I mean, there was at least a 16th to an 1/8 inch gap where the cowling and the fuselage met. Absolutely maddening. John says more sprue glue than plastic kit. Exactly. And it still turned out, it turned out looking like a plane. I mean, Jan says, don't start with Idolmaster kits. A friend of mine built a pink F-22 over 300 decals. Wow. And a pink F-22. That's a nice color. John says, was that the one at Telford last year? Yups. I gotta look back. On YouTube, see if I can find like Moss's video from Telford last year, somebody's video from Telford. See if I could see that. Moosey, really? Calm down, buddy. John says it got plenty of attention. I bet. I bet. Dang, folks. We're about 11 minutes away from 1 hour. So before we get too far into this, I want to let you know what's coming up on the channel. And as I said at the start, John says it is on YouTube. Loads of comments on it. Okay, I'll look back on it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's coming up on the channel. But as I said at the start, I'm gonna look tonight because this eBay video that dropped Tuesday has some legs to it. It is doing very well. And I set a threshold on it to reach. And if I'm going to check it tonight like maybe halftime of the football game. And if it hit that threshold, which is like 200 views, I'm going to postpone the dropping of tomorrow's video to Tuesday and let this eBay video have a little more room to breathe and to work and to run. So, depending on how that's going, you may or may not have a video tomorrow dropping. And if it does, it'll be spray booth safety, which, everybody needs to know. And even us grizzled veterans can have a refresher course on safety every now and then. And after that, we will have a video on Model Earth kits. Are they worth it? And after the Model Earth kit, we're going to go back to the bench and have a video on organizing your bench on the cheap. And that should be interesting. And that will also be a good segue, because after that, we're going to go into the next build series, which will be the Hasegawa Zero Kit, 148 scale. John says 149 views 9 days ago. Is that the video on Telford, John? Michael Lambertino says, what kind of kits? More specific, please? Oh, no, my video. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're thinking of the what was that? That was the one before the video I was hyping last week, which flopped. Go figure. That was the yeah, it was the one before the social media video, whatever that was about. This one, the eBay one, has like 165 views after 2 days. You mentioned kits. Yeah. I got a video after that I'm gonna film it tomorrow. It's about Metal Earth kits. So yeah, that's the kind of kits. Metal Earth kits. The Metal Earth are basically, if you haven't done them, they're very small models when you're done with them. They're smaller than this, really, to tell you the truth. Devil's kits, John says. Actually, I kind of like them. And, well, I'm going to tell you here, Michael. They're smaller than, like this here. They're smaller than that. But they're just sheets of laser etched metal. Sheets are about maybe 4 inches by 4 inches, maybe 5 by 5 inches. And all you do is fold these parts. You fold them, and you have some that's got to go roundish, and they're all how they go together is all tab into slots. And you either twist the tab or you bend the tab to put it into place. John says, done a few. Be prepared for loads of cuts on fingers. You know, John, I've done 3 of them so far. I've never cut myself once. So, Michael, that's what Metal Earth kits are about. I do have a video, Michael, if you want to look at it, that dives deeper into Metal Earth kits, what they are, how they go together, and everything. So that's in my probably miscellaneous videos playlist, and you'll find it. It's titles Metal Earth, blah 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 blah, and John says, did the R2D2 kit and filled square jar up. Yeah, that's the one of the major problems with Metal Earth kits is they have very, very small parts. If you don't have a magnifier or excuse me, or proper tweezers, it's yeah, you're gonna play hell with them. But I'm gonna do a video. It's sort of piggybacking on the video that I already did. Basically, that's what these last, up until all these videos from Do You Have One to Show? Again, I'll be right back. Gotta go into the living room. All right, Lucy, come on. Come on. Come on. Calm down. All right, Michael, you asked for it, you got it. This is a Metal Earth kit of the Space Shuttle Atlantis. John says, think of photo etch 10 then times World of Pain by 100. But that's Metal Earth kit. Lots of detail on it. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Put that there. Jan says, ooh, for beginners. Bandai Gundam. Those are incredible. Like this one right here. Got a small mini build series on him. Bandai are great but expensive. Well, if you get the larger scales, yes. I got a 1/350th Millennium Falcon that I did a series on it. I'm sure you saw it. And that thing only cost me like 15, 20 bucks, if that. Michael says, nice, thank you. John says, nice build, thank you. This was one I enjoyed doing. I was surprised how easy the front landing gear went on, because that's like a 1/4 inch diameter, if that. Jan says, I know, I got all 172nd Star Wars fighters. Yeah, I got the 172nd X-Wing fighter. I'm thinking about getting more of those. I'll be doing another build series with a Bandai. What do you guys think? Do a build series with a Bandai kit again? You talking about the Metal Earth kit, Michael? Says, how'd you paint it and what kind of paint? Because Metal Earth kits, you don't need paint. They come pre-printed. And everything is, all you got to do is build it. That's a plus. That's one of the pluses of Metal Earth kits. You don't need glue. You don't need paint. Yep. Jan says, those are expensive now, Bandai Star Wars. Michael says, oh, okay. Yep. But Michael, look up that, look up that Metal Earth video I have. It's already on the playlist. It'll tell you all about them. And then this one that's coming up, it'll either be going public either Tuesday or next Friday, depending on if I shove everything back and let this one that's running now have a little breathing room, which it looks like I'm gonna do. And if I decide to do that, I'll put up a post and everything to let you guys know. I try not to do anything on this channel that comes out of left field, you know. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Maybe do a videos build series on down the line of another Bandai kit. Maybe after the holidays, when I have a little more money to spend on one. Maybe I'll be monetized by then. I don't know. I doubt if I'll be fully monetized because I only have 434 subscriptions right now. But I'm real close to being partially. John says, what do you think of Airfix and their latest cock-up? What happened? I haven't been keeping up with Airfix. I know I'm a bad boy, but what happened, John? Tell me. The world, inquiring minds want to know. But Airfix and the public affairs screw up. Doesn't surprise me. It's not their first one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. John says they sold a British GR1 but put a French plane in the box. Oh, my God. Really? Must have been a Friday. Must have been a Friday after lunch. After that nice 2.5 hour Friday cocktail break. Yeah, doesn't surprise me any. Won't be their first one, won't be the last. So, just popped into my head. Oh, John says I had to pull all kits and refund everyone that got one. Damn. Wow. Yeah, those 2 hour cocktail lunches will really do you in. But something that popped into my mind, everybody. I am getting really close to announcing a group build for the holidays for the Facebook group. Just got to decide. I decide to do it. I just got to decide what to do. It might just be open to anything. Just do what you want. But I'll decide that and announce it next week on the stream. So, good reason to tune in. And what I want to do is I want to give you plenty of time to put it all together, post your builds on the Facebook group, and then I'm going to make a holiday video out of everybody's builds and just put everybody's builds on a video. And your builds will be seen worldwide by at least 30 people. But could be many, many more. But I'll release that for the holiday. And that's what I'm planning right now. So, yeah. Hopefully nothing happens between now and then to screw it all up. What, buddy? Come here. Come here. Get your boogie boogie. All right. Time for your fix, guys. Yeah, she's your boogie. Boogie boogie. Yes, good boy. Good boy. John says doing a wheelie thing build at present, which is basically anything with wheels, so lots of scope. Ah, star of the show, damn right, and he knows it. Yeah, Michael said, "Woo-see." Yes. Yeah, you know you're on camera, don't you? All right, we got 20 minutes left. Anybody? Anybody want to say anything else about anything? Let's see. I think of covered everything I wanted to cover, so we have extra time to just do some BSing, guys. Plain BSing. Get your paws up there. There you go. Anybody? Michael says, have a question regarding airbrushes. Has anyone ever used a self contained airbrush? No, I haven't. Self contained, you talking about one of those that has the little air canister underneath it, rechargeable air canister? Yeah, what is that, Michael? Please explain. Once again, inquiring minds want to know. Ah, yes, it's the one with the rechargeable air container. I've used those. They work. They work. They're not nearly as good as a regular compressor, but they're not made to be. You know, yeah, the canister. They're not made to be. They're made for like uh, if you go on vacation and you can't bring your whole setup, you can bring that. Jan says, I'm looking for a USB airbrush compressor, double action. Hmm. I don't know about that. Uh, saw one at Hobby Lobby today, Michael says. Yeah, Michael, if it's worth getting, okay? It's worth getting, but don't like make it your go-to thing. That's something that if you need to be on the go and you need some painting done, that's what you use. John says, got a single action thingy on Timu. Yeah, I got one from Gallery, and it came with a single action airbrush. I use the airbrush now uh, that gloss coats. Uh, let's see. Jan, a USB airbrush. I'm thinking maybe I'm not for sure. John says, Jan, are you talking airbrush or compressor? Yeah. Jan says, problem is the connection ain't BSP. Hmm. I have a regular compressor and air brushes. Okay, now, yeah, maybe Jan look at some of Gallery's new compressors. They might be USB connections. I don't know. If there are any out there, they're probably few and far between, I would say, because usually compressors are standard, you know, compressors are usually standard plugs with the ground. And Jan says electricity in Telford show is 90 pounds, starting to get expensive. Oh, yeah. Most stuff at Telford is not cheap, or any big name show is not cheap. If you're like if you're doing a display or if you're a vendor or something like that, it's not cheap. Just to get the space alone is got to sign away your firstborn for that anymore. If you're attending it, on the other hand, is so glad we ain't a vendor, yeah, because John says bargains are few at Telford now, not like the good old days. Well, yeah, because the vendors are paying an arm and a leg just to set up there. That's not including the hotel and meals. Believe me, the hotels know it's Telford time. They're going to adjust accordingly. Yeah, and then vendors have to get their money back some way. John says hotels are outrageous for a show. Yeah, I bet. They know damn well what weekend it is. It's like around here, you know, you want to get a hotel for a Notre Dame home football game the week the weekend of the game. Yeah, you're gonna pay out your ass. Jan says only going to the mini art P47 Razorback, nothing else if I can manage. John says paid 300 pounds for 2 nights this year. Used to be 80 pounds. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But I mean, John, you mentioned the good old days. Well, probably. I'm just thinking this way because, being American, I don't know for sure. But I'm thinking back in the good old days, Telford really wasn't Telford like it is now. Probably. Am I correct or am I wrong on that? Got 10 minutes left, people. Wow. Time flies. Time flies. And I noticed one thing this week. The conversation each week is getting more and more lively, and there's less dead spaces that I have to fill. And I thank you all for that. Because when I started this thing, oh man. Jan says all shows are expensive. The internet has shown to all what the bargains are. Yep, you're exactly right, Jan. I just wish I could go to one show. Just one. John says Telford has always had a good crowd, as was the major show in UK. Now Sunday's getting quiet with only a few thousand turning up. Damn. So what, is Telford actually going down? I can't see that, but yeah, hobby is getting smaller. Yeah. Yeah, I got a video on that too. It's my one. Stephen Kessel, hello, Mike and everyone. Model on, Stephen. You're just in time for us to stop. We got about 7 minutes left, so if you got anything to say. Tomorrow, Michael says, tomorrow morning I'm going to fly my electric 8-foot wingspan Piper Cub maiden flight. Woo! Cool. Excellent. That should be fun. Steven says aircraft is a good start. You already know this subject, huh? Or have you been watching all along? Just decided to join in the chat. John says still has massive pull on first day, but cost of staying is paying. Yeah, I can see that. Yep. And that disposable income's becoming a bigger and bigger deal too. Yeah, Jan, what I was telling you before, when you said hobby is getting smaller, I got a video. Another video in my miscellaneous playlist. It's about the state of the hobby. It's like my number one watched video ever on the channel. And has like 5,500 views now, so might want to look at that. Jan says COVID didn't help. More people are in hobby, less at shows. Yep. COVID didn't help anything at all. So it's 4:55 here, 4:55 Eastern. Got 5 minutes left. I'm giving you two guys 2 minutes warning. In 2 minutes, I'm going to run through what's coming up one more time on the channel. Then I'm going to close it out. Jan says state of the hobby is all-time high, but there's so much more for a hobby. Yep. And that's one of the things I say in the video. The hobby may be at an all-time high, but it's mighty gray out there. And I got pushback. Not really pushback, but some comments saying that, people have had their kids join in. Well, yeah, you're just one. It's not a common thing going on. A lot of the kids are more interested in sticking their face in a screen, flipping left or flipping right, or up and down. If they're not flipping, it's not interesting them. Got to put Moosey down. My arm's getting tired. There you go, buddy. All right. Wow, it's hard to believe we're coming to the end of this, but one more minute and I'm going to give you the end here. Final thoughts. So anybody got anything to say? Last call for comments before How old is Moosey? Moosey that's up for debate. When I got him from the shelter, they said he was 9, and he'll have a birthday next month, the first of next month. Which will make me have him 3 years. That was 3 years ago. So if you go by what the shelter said, he's 12. I took him to the vet for the first time about a couple of months after I got him, about 3 years ago. And they said he's between 5 and 9. So I split the difference. Shelter said he was 9. Vet said he could be as young as 5, so I made him 7. So if you go by me, I say he's going to be 10 this year. So that's what I go by. So he's 9 right now. He will be 10. So it's been an hour 28, so I'm going to close it out here. Want to thank you all for your participation once again. Just proving to me again, you're the best group of subscribers in all of YouTube, in my opinion. For those of you who are on here watching and you're not subscribed, remember to like and subscribe. To everybody watching or gonna watch, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, go to Facebook, look up the Frugal Scale Modeler, and you can sign up for the group by answering 3 membership questions and agree to the group rules when I look them over, which takes about 5 seconds or so, 10 seconds. Send you a message saying you could go ahead and post, welcoming you to the group. Next videos, like I said, could be tomorrow, could be tomorrow, could be Tuesday. Well, Michael, you're close. It's never stop pushing your modeling boundaries, but that's coming up. But I'll let you know that later on tonight. Uh, but next video is going to be spray booth safety. After that, it's going to be metal earth kits. Are they worth it? After that, it's going to be organizing your workbench on the cheap. And after that, we're going to start with a review of the Hasegawa 148th Zero kit. We're going to start the next video series. So that's the next videos coming up. And here we go, Michael. That being said, you all know what we say around here. Say it with me, Michael. Never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. Until next time, bye bye.